Welcome to the HR Empowerment Podcast, where we will uncover strategies and new insights from HR professionals who discuss up-to-date regulations, best practices, and the most pressing topics like diversity and equity, leadership, dealing with difficult situations, and much more that affect your bottom line and business. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, everybody. Wendy Sellers here, the HR lady. We're here with 5 out of 5 episodes talking about connecting business practices to the employee experience. We could add the customer experience in there too. Sure, why not? But we really want to be focusing on the employee experience so that your employees will take care of your customers. We're here with our expert, Michelle Griffin. Hey, Michelle.
Hi.
And of course, JC too.
It's my pleasure to be back. And I think one of the things that stands out for me in this episode, Ms. Wendy, you said we're going to start to identify ways to connect things. I want to learn how to connect with Michelle and Wendy at the end of this program.
All
so
right,
have
absolutely.
your contact information ready. That's all I'm going to say. Back to you.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. We can definitely do that because we are here to help you. I don't think either one of us can help ourselves from helping you. We are very passionate HR people and different too. We even have a client that we work together on, and we have different expertise. And there are times that I just have to randomly call people, and I'm sure you do, Michelle, too. Folks that are listening, you're not going to know everything, especially if you've only been in one company in one seat forever, or as Michelle said, forever might be 18 months, depending on your generation. And for those of you that are rolling your eyes at that, get over it because it is what it is. So I want our listeners today to walk away from here we've given them a lot of advice, but some really good advice about how to start, how to get a start of saying, wow, I don't really think I've been focusing on my employees. I've been focusing on my customers. Give them one piece of advice or many pieces of advice, Michelle, that they can walk away with today.
So I personally do this with my own firm, is really focusing on my employee experience and what working at my firm means for them. And I always focus on, I would say, the adage of work-life balance, but I'll give some definitions of and examples of what that means. So, and obviously this goes back to treating people humanely and authentically when it comes to their life outside of work and their values of what they're looking for when they are looking for a job. So for the people that work for me, I want to make sure that it fits into their schedule and their work. So obviously my people work remote. I do have an office in Tampa, Florida that they can go to for those that are local to that if they choose to. So if they want to get out of the house, they can. We also will pay for people to go to a co-working space near their house if they also want to get out of their house. But for mostly, I mean, it's all remote to them. But we do have people that have all walks of life. So in generations, so they have children of their own. They have they have older children, they have smaller children, and I do have a couple of employees that work part-time because they have small children at home some of the days of the week. And one of my very best employees, she only works about 15 to 20 hours a week. And I don't think she ever works Wednesday afternoons and never on a Friday, unless I absolutely beg her. But for her, she's home for her kids and she doesn't have to have a gap in her resume. She still gets to show value to an organization and take in some money. And so for her, it works out really well. She gets all the benefits of, being an HR professional. And, we get someone who's an amazing employee, but if you were to look at a traditional job, no one would hire her.
Right.
Because she, lives in remote New Jersey and, she has her 3 small kids. So it's things like that where it's like, I think she's an absolutely phenomenal employee, even though there's multiple times in the week where I'm like, she's just not available. Don't even bother. And, there's some companies where you can't just be like, I want results and I don't want excuses. I don't want to hear that you're not available or you didn't get it done or, your kids were sick or you were sick. I don't want to hear excuses. I want results. And I never want someone to treat people like that in my organization. And I have leaders in my company that go through coaching because they were like that. And, they were just like, more about results driven, especially when I came to like sales or recruiting and things like that are numbers driven and KPIs. And they're like, why didn't you hit your numbers? And, it's like, they don't really care what the answer is. It's more of like, if you don't hit your numbers, then you're fired when it comes to salespeople, and they'll just clean house kind of thing. So when it comes to work-life balance and, treating people with respect, that's probably the biggest thing that I am an advocate for and how I want people. If they're in school and they're struggling to balance work and school, there's a part of me that wants to say, and I'm just going to use the adage, suck it up, buttercup.
Hey,
it used to be like, I had to do it. I had to put in time. I had leadership tell me it doesn't matter. No one cares that you're in school. No one cares that you're trying to improve your life. They want to see your butt in your seat, and they want to see that you're doing hard work and long hours. And that's how you're going to get ahead in your career. And I did that. And I sacrificed a lot to do that. But, and so when someone in my organization that's now in their 20s that says they're struggling, they're stressed, they're dropping the ball on things because they're just trying to get things done quickly, but they're just not being good at it because they're working and going to school. I want to be like, screw you. I went to work full time. I went to school full time for both my bachelor's and my PhD. So it's like, I don't want to hear your excuses. And so a part of me does want to be like that, but it's like, there's the part where it's just like, let's give you some space to be you and, give you some slack. So what can we do to make your life a lot easier? So I have a little more gentle management time when it comes to things like that.
Yeah, it's funny. And I'm sure most of my listeners at this point know that my book is Suck It Up, Buttercup, but it goes on to say, be a leader people will follow. Mm-hmm. And I also, say a lot in my book, grab a mirror, you might be part of the problem. And it sounds like, Michelle, you realize in that moment that you're like, I can't say suck it up, buttercup in that way. I need to say it to myself, suck it up, buttercup, because things have changed. Real quick, what I wanted to comment about, I love your approach, by the way, the work-life balance. I just want to make sure, all our listeners knows that it's not just about people with kids. It's about people without kids too. Why they need work-life balance isn't really any of your business. If they share with you, that's fine. That's great. Keep that in confidence. But it could be because of whatever other reason. And that's none of our business. But it could be a medical reason. It could be taking care of family members. It could just be, hey, they're only emotionally capable of working 28 hours a week. And if that's what you've agreed to, then that's what you've agreed to. So keep that in mind, to be open-minded. One piece of advice that I want to give is not just about the work-life balance, but it's about the connection with other colleagues. There is actually a survey done by WorkHuman, and it says that nearly 60% of employees said part of the reason they're burned out is they don't connect with colleagues enough. And I find that very interesting, especially in our remote and virtual work environment, but it's also even in the in-person environment. Just because somebody's sitting next to you doesn't mean you actually have a connection with them, because you're both, being forced to do more, less. And so you don't even have time to chit chat or have that cup of coffee. And they try to talk to you, you're annoyed. Mm-hmm. So please, business owners, managers, HR, try your best to I don't want to say force, but to make it happen that colleagues get to know each other and they get to lean on each other for help, so that they're not burnt out and go, I'm out of here. Nobody else is going through this. It's just me. What are your thoughts, JC? Oh, go ahead, Michelle.
Yeah, I wanted to add on to that, because I think that was really, really mindful when we were in lockdown. And I had so many people reaching out to me to ask that exact question. How do we engage them? What are some unique things we can do since we're all remote? Those questions stopped, and we're still remote.
Yeah.
And it's like, just because it happened 2 years ago and you think it's the new norm and everyone's fine now, no one's fine now. So it's like, you still have that same mentality that you had 2 years ago when you first went on lockdown, you were really concerned for everybody. you still need to be concerned for everybody. And you need to make sure that you're, same level of, caution and trying to make people feel engaged and a part of something. You still have to do that.
You know what?
If not more. If not more.
Because now it's been longer.
Exactly. Yep. It's been longer. And for all you know, as you're trying to establish these new routines, as you're trying to build your new base as a leader, some people have been flapping in the wind. You got to be mindful of that. That's all. I do have a few tips, but Wendy, back to you.
Writing down here on our future podcast potential topics is how to connect with coworkers, whether in person or remote. So we will have that as a podcast topic shortly. JC, go ahead.
Yeah, so just a few quick points here from where I'm sitting, please. If I'm wrong, Michelle Griffin, MD. Will it be Michelle Griffin, MD, or would it be Dr.
PhD.
Michelle? Oh, jeez. I never get this right. Like, how cool would that be if you could just be MD at the end? You know what I mean? Like Doogie Howser.
I'm not going through medical school. So
oh, man. Oh, the things I learn. I tell you. Look, get to know people. Develop people. Communicate clearly and set up responsibility within your organization. Even if it's not an organization, within your circles. Set up responsibility. And be intentionally critical, not overly critical, intentionally critical. Initiate change and inspire people. If you simply do those things, you're good. You're good. That's it. Oh, yeah, last one. Don't break the law.
Oh, yeah, that thing too. Yeah. And if you're not sure, call one of us, please. With that said, Michelle, how can people contact you?
So they can contact me. It's Michelle with 2 L's at griffin-resources.com. And my phone number is everywhere, so I don't mind giving that out. It is 813-728-6677. And my email is Michelle at griffin-resources.com.
Awesome. And are you on LinkedIn as well?
I am. That is just Michelle Griffin. So finding that might be, you can Google Michelle May Griffin, and often most of that shows up in the algorithm. Great.
Or you can just go to my LinkedIn profile and I am connected to her. So everybody knows how to find me, Wendy at thehrlady.com. My website's thehrlady.com, and I am a LinkedIn junkie. So please connect with me there for more advice. Thanks for coming, everybody. Take care.
Thank you for joining the HR Empowerment Podcast, brought to you by Aurora Training Advantage. We hope you've gained new insight and strategies to navigate the HR profession. We look forward to you joining us again on the HR Empowerment Podcast.